Hey guys, and welcome to Aaron's Automotive. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to recharge an R12 vehicle's air conditioning system using liquid propane, also known as R129. It's an old farmer's trick. I still have the R12 system in my 82 Chevy. It's got a 350 small block, and I do not want to convert it over to the R134a. So I'm just going to recharge it with propane. I've been doing this for about 2-3 years now. This will be probably the fourth summer I've recharged an R12 with propane. I've never had a problem with it, never had an issue with it freezing up or exploding on me or anything. The reason I'm doing this is I've just replaced the evaporator in the truck, and I had a vacuum pulled on it and everything. Now it just needs to be charged up with propane. So this is the tank. This is my setup. This is a normal barbecue line for a barbecue, for a tank, just for portable grills and stuff. And then this is a standard recharge hose for your R134a systems. I just happen to have a fitting, a little 90-degree brass fitting that fit in there perfectly. So this works great to charge the system with. This is a little coupling here that I need to put onto the dryer, the accumulator dryer. So I'm going to put that back in here for now. So what I'm going to do, this is a 14mm wrench on here to tighten it down on the truck. So what I'm going to do, bring this over to the truck. Find a place to put it. Put on the fan shroud for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it to here. I can get that off. Oh, that's on there. I have to grab some pliers for that. Let's do some vice grips. Because the shop that vacuumed the system out for me decided to crank that down as tight as I physically can. This is my vice grips. There we go. That's off. So what you do, take your propane tank. I gotta find something to put the propane tank on, so I'll come back in a couple of minutes when I have a stand for the propane tank to sit on. So, see you in a few. Alright, so I got a couple of empty 5-gallon pails. Actually, the bottom one is full of waste motor oil, the top one's empty. Now you need to have the barbecue tank sitting upside down in order to get the liquid propane out of here. If you have the barbecue tank sitting upside right, all you're going to get is the propane gas out of here, and it won't be the liquid. So I'll show you what I mean. I've got the barbecue tank cracked wide open. I'm going to face this away from me. I'm going to turn this little dial to open up. You can see the liquid gas coming out of there. So what you need to do is you need to take it and attach it to here. So I'm going to pop that out of here. I can do it one-handed. There. You take it and thread it onto this. Now this seems to, the straighter oven, this doesn't hold, I guess probably because it's a vacuum in it or something, so I'm going to attach this before I tighten that down all the way. So with that attached, I can take my 14mm wrench and I can crank this down. Doesn't need to be tight, you don't need to strip anything. And then, move my wrenches. This is going to get a little loud, so I'm going to explain what I'm going to do. Once I get the engine running, my compressor isn't kicking on because there's obviously no pressure in here, I'm going to turn this valve I'll even pump a little in there right now. With the valve turned, eventually this will sense pressure to that and it'll kick on the compressor. So I'm going to start up the engine. I'm going to start it up. I'm going to turn the AC on. As cold as it'll go. I'm just going to turn on bi-level and turn the fan up. I guess we'll crank it over. There. So now the truck's running. You can see the compressor isn't on yet. It is wanting to build pressure from that little bit I put in there, so I'm going to crack this valve open. See if I can. There, valve's open. I'll watch the compressor. There, you can see the compressor just kicked on. Just going to cut the propane off. See, the compressor is on. I know there's not much propane in there in the system right now. It's not blowing cold. But I need to get the RPM up to about 1500. So I'm going to set the choke, set the high idle on the choke without the choke on, and then I'll come back. Alright, so I got the high idle set. Right about 13 or so hundred RPM. It drops down obviously as the compressor's kicking on and off. Now the compressor's kicking on and off like this because it's not enough pressure in the system to keep it on. So if you watch the pressure gauge, you'll see when it goes on, the pressure is going to drop. When it turns off, the pressure is going to rise. With the compressor on, I wanted to read somewhere around the 40 to 50 psi mark with it on, and obviously the temperature will climb when the compressor goes off. So, take a look. Right around the 40 mark. I'll put a little more in there. So we're right at 50. Now the compressor has quieted down. It was making some racket with the low pressure that was in it. So once it's quieted down, I'm going to check the vehicle. It's starting to blow cold. It could be a little higher. I'm going to pull the pressure valve off and see what the high end is sitting at. I'm just going to pull the pressure switch off. And then take a look at the compressor. Yeah, compressor's off. Climbing. Climbing. Alright, so it's holding at about 120. Now this gauge isn't going to be accurate for the pressure with propane. It's thinking I'm using R12 or R134 with it. So to fill this around 60 psi won't be so bad. when the compressor shuts off, it should read 130 around then. Now with propane, that's not so bad. The pressure gauge is off, ends up being off with propane in there the way it compresses. So I'm going to turn the compressor back on by plugging in that switch. I'm going to pump about another 5 or 10 psi in there and then check it again. So plug this back in. Compressor kicked on. Pressure's dropping. Now, this is about 1200 RPM. It should be holding at about 1800 RPM. I couldn't get it to kick into that high of an idle. So, I'm going to pump a little bit more propane into there. And then, actually I'm going to try and kick it into a full high idle, and then check the gauge. So it should be holding this around 1800 RPM. So we'll come back in a couple of minutes when I get it into its full high idle. Alright, so I've manually forced the throttle to be in its highest idle possible, which is about 1600 RPM with the air compressor on. I'll turn the AC off and 1800 set off. So now we'll check the pressure. It should be reading 50 to 55 with propane, and we'll see what it is. Alright, so it's about 45. So I'll pump more propane into the system. It's reading about 52, 53. That should be good enough. So, it's reading about 52, 53 psi. That should be enough. I'm going to hop in and... Oh, I can feel that AC already. That is nice. Put it to quiet level, cool my feet down. Oh yeah, that's blowing cold. I don't have a thermometer to stick in the air vent at the moment, but when I did it last year to this truck, my thermometer is reading about 3 degrees Celsius, and depending on the temperature outside. A couple of times it was reading +1 degree Celsius, which honestly is really good for this, for using propane. So. It's running. Oh, that line is cold. Hot and cold. That line's hot like it should be. That's cooling down. Really nice and cold. That's really cold. And we're reading at 55 psi. So I'm gonna, that pulls all the way. I'm gonna pop off this vent. See what it climbs to. with propane. Pick the compressor back on, and you can hear the engine cut down again. So, now I got this light off. I'm going to shut the truck off for a minute. I got to be fast because this does leak because that Schrader valve isn't proper, so come on. There we go. So that was using, again, I'll prove it, liquid propane. See the proof concept? Completely liquid propane. Got it. Woo! Very cold. You can see this nozzle's frosted up. Can't see, but these lines are really nice and cold. Everything going into the system's cold. Everything coming back is warm, which is what you want to see. So now all you got to do is remove your propane tank, pick it up, just gonna set it down. That one's empty. Yep, that one was full of oil. Take my black plastic cap. I'm gonna toss it back onto here. Oh yeah, that is really cold. Good. Today's already 20 degrees Celsius out. Next week it's supposed to be low to high 30s, or sorry, high 20s, low 30s. Should have got everything. Close that. All that's left to do is to pop back in, fire it up, and check it out. So the truck's pretty warm inside. I'm going to stick it on vent. Check the temperature. I'm going to just let the vent blow a little bit, so all the cold air can get out of the system. Alright, so it's blowing just regular warm air. I'm going to go over to normal, kick the AC on. Yeah, that's instantly cold. Alright, let's go bi-level so I can cool my feet down too. Take it out of high idle. See how the system does if it's just idling. It's still blowing cold. Sounded like my compressor clutch squealing. A little bit of a backfire. I'm gonna go for a drive and let you guys know how it's doing. Alright, sorry for the wind noise that's irritating the truck. It doesn't seal perfectly, but I'm cruising along on the highway at, speedometer's off by about 20k. Doing about 100. And I really wish I had a thermometer, an infrared or something. My feet are freezing. Got a lot of good air coming through the vents. Still on fully, well, bi-level AC. So it seems to be working really well. Have a bit of a lack of power on the truck. But as with every old vehicle, when you got air conditioning running off of a pump, it's always going to be a little less powerful. So I'm happy. That's how you recharge an AC system, an R12 AC system in an older vehicle using liquid propane. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel for more videos. So remember, take care out there.